Poppy, she dropped her new album Negative Spaces, and holy fucking shit, this is what we were asking for a couple years ago when we reviewed Zig, which was last year, and was like, this, what the hell?
Wait, what is this? What is this? Okay, so I think this album is incredible. I think the first half, actually, I'd probably break it up into quarters. I'd say it switches off where it goes. The first quarter is heavy. It's metalcore. It's leaning into kind of the genre that she's been taking over for the past year or so. I don't know, ever since I almost said Artificial Suicide, the Violence Against Nature van. Ever since she hopped on the van track and also the Knocked Loose track, and she's just been kind of dabbling in that heavy area. Then in the second quarter, she goes into more of like a pop rock situation, and it was like a little bit of a whiplash because I was like, she was just like screaming in the last track, and now she's singing in this track, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then it flips again, and then it goes right back. So it's just like, I think it's great. And I love the variety, and I love how she was able to kind of jump back and forth between two different genres and still make it a cohesive piece of work. I fucking loved the record, and it definitely made me excited for whatever she has up her sleeve. Tour, literally anything. If she comes near me, I would go out to see this record live because it was that good. I'm gonna fucking check out my favorite songs and then you can go. I would say Push Go. That's one of the poppier ones. Crystallized is incredible. Honestly, the first quarter is probably my favorite. Have You Had Enough? The Cost of Giving Up. They're All Around Us. Yesterday, Crystallized. Just fucking incredible. I love Heavy Poppy. It makes so much sense because it's kind of that thing that she was going for when she first debuted on YouTube, where it's kind of like she looks sweet and she looks like kind and cutesy, and then but she's unsettling as fuck. Like she's creepy. I think her leaning into kind of metalcore and screaming and heavier music definitely pulls on that shit that she did back then, where it's like the look does not match what she's actually doing, and her stage presence does not match what she's doing. I think it's great. Love it. Big fan.
Yeah, hell yeah. Been a big fan of the tracks that obviously Poppy has been on over the past year or so, as well as the singles off of this album. And I Disagree, which was the industrial metal record, where then, you know, we got Flux and Zig, where we were kind of like, okay, what the fuck is going on here? And now we're so back. You're definitely right in the sense of, you know, there's plenty of heavy moments on this record, and honestly, I expected that. With like, you don't just break in and have some of the biggest tracks in the metal and hardcore scene and then be like, pop album.
Guys, I'm doing indie on the next record, by the way. I'm gonna break out the acoustic guitar.
Pop album. There's definitely poppy moments on here. But that's fine because, you know, she's always, no record that we have heard from her has been the same thing for the entire album anyway. So it's like, as much as does give this idea of whiplash and this feeling of whiplash, it's expected when I turn on a poppy album. Like when granted, the first, you know, poppy song you get on here was a single, Crystallized. It didn't feel weird. Because like the whiplash experience is just what I go in subconsciously knowing when I'm listening to a poppy album for the first time. Now sometimes that will jar me to the fact where I just don't like the album, but this one is done well. Jordan Fish, formerly of Bring Me the Horizon, produced the record, and he did a phenomenal job. The album sounds fucking great. The songs on here are fucking catchy, and I love that there are songs where she is literally screaming like she's like in the pits of hell. And then there's, you know, the songs where she's being cutesy and singing, and there's not a single scream for miles in sight. I Crystallized was a song that was a single that I was kind of like, okay, what the fuck is this as a single, but it has quickly become one of my favorites on the record because it is so goddamn catchy. Push Go is also another one of my favorites for the same reason. That chorus is so fucking catchy. It's kind of like, it's bouncy, and like I could see myself if I still stood in the pit these days, bouncing and jumping up and down in the pit.
Man, you aren't jumping.
Hey.
Because neither am I. Man. We don't jump at shows, and I know that.
In this alternate reality, I'm jumping up and down to this song in the pit. New Way Out obviously was the lead single. Big fan of that one. Big fan of the way this album opens up with the first handful of songs, because it opens up letting you know you're getting heavy poppy, which I'm into, but Have You Had Enough is also weird enough that it kind of sets the tone for the record. And the center's falling out because just what the hell, that is so goddamn heavy. But overall it's a great experience. You know, it is, as we've mentioned, teetering on two completely opposite sides of the ball, but makes for a cohesive album and a phenomenal listening experience. This is the album this week or this weekend that I spent the most time with, and honestly was the one that I was most excited to check out, because I didn't know what was coming with the next record that we're going to talk about, Linkin Park. I kind of knew a little bit more of like what to expect. They more so play in the same arena for the most part, so I was a little bit more excited to check out the poppy, because I'm finally back on the poppy train. And I want to see
us back.
I want to see what she does. I'm hoping and praying for a headline in 2025, or just a tour in 2025 that comes near both of us, because she's toured a handful of times now, and I've missed it every single time. So I'd love to catch her in this current era, before it gets weird again.
Yeah, before it gets fucking freaky.